"We are jealous." That's exactly how Madison Keys and Jessica Pegula summed up their feelings when they saw Elena Rybakina walk away with an eye-popping $5,235,000 paycheck at the WTA Finals 2025, the largest single tournament payout in women's tennis history. Welcome to Net Rush Report, your home for the biggest tennis stories, straight from the locker room to the headlines. And today, we're diving into the hilarious, honest, and surprisingly emotional reactions from Madison Keys, Jessica Pegula, and their friends as they opened up about Rybakina's stunning season, her domination at the WTA Finals, and that record-breaking paycheck that had everyone, even her toughest rivals, a little jealous. When Elena Rybakina lifted the trophy at the WTA Finals in Riyadh, it wasn't just another title. It was historic. She didn't just win, she swept. Undefeated in the group stage, dominant in the semis, untouchable in the final. And that perfect run translated into a record purse, over $5.2 million. For context, that's more than what some Grand Slam champions have earned across an entire season. So when the news broke, the tennis world didn't just applaud, it buzzed. And among the loudest voices reacting were none other than Madison Keys and Jessica Pegula, two of the sport's most respected and relatable stars on their popular show, the Players Box podcast. Keys and Pegula sat down with fellow pros Desiree Crouchick and Jennifer Brady to talk about everything from travel chaos to training burnout. But this time, the conversation quickly turned into a mix of laughter, admiration, and a little envy. Jessica Pegula opened the topic, saying with a chuckle, "Rybakina's finish to the season was unreal. I mean, she just did not miss." Madison Keys immediately agreed, adding, "She was unstoppable. Like that serve? Forget it. Nobody was touching that. And then to walk away with $5 million? Yeah, we're jealous." Pegula, who actually faced Rybakina in the semifinals at the finals, nodded in full agreement. She had first-hand experience with what it's like to be on the receiving end of that relentless power. "It's one thing to see her stats on paper," Pegula said. "It's another to stand across the net and realize, oh wow, this ball isn't slowing down." The group went on to break down exactly how Rybakina made the impossible look easy. Keys pointed out her near-flawless form since September, semifinal or better in every major event, huge wins over top seeds, and the calmness of a champion. "She's just locked in," Keys noted. "It's like she made a decision that she's not going to lose anymore." And then, Pegula added the kicker, the money factor. "You know what makes it even crazier? She got the max payout. She didn't lose a single match, which means she got every bonus. That's just wild." Jennifer Brady couldn't resist jumping in. $5 million. I mean, what do you even do with that? Maldives trip? New house? Jet? Desiree Crouchick laughed. All of the above. The tone was lighthearted, but beneath the laughter was genuine admiration, because every single one of them knew how hard it is to even reach the WTA Finals, let alone win it undefeated. Keys eventually summed up what every player was feeling, a blend of awe and envy that only elite athletes can truly understand. "Look, I'm happy for her. She deserves it," she said. "But let's be honest, we're all thinking the same thing. That paycheck? We're jealous. Straight up." It was the kind of candid honesty fans love about Keys and Pegula's podcast. There was no sugarcoating, no PR-filtered politeness, just real talk between players who grind week after week on tour. And it made tennis fans everywhere laugh, because in that moment, they weren't just pros. They were human. To understand why Rybakina's win drew that much admiration and envy, you have to look at her 2025 campaign as a whole. After a rough start to the year with injuries and scheduling setbacks, Rybakina turned things around with sheer discipline. She dominated on both hard and grass courts, capturing major titles in Doha and Berlin, and reaching deep into almost every major tournament she entered. But it was the second half of the season where she became nearly unbeatable. By the time the WTA Finals arrived, Rybakina had already defeated nearly every top 10 player at least once. Her serve, easily the most powerful on tour, was statistically unmatched. She averaged over 10 aces per match, won 80% of first serve points, and rarely faced break points. Pegula put it best during the podcast. "You just feel helpless sometimes. You hit your best return, and she hits a line. You blink, and it's 40-0. The staggering $5,235,000 prize wasn't just a number. It symbolized how far women's tennis has come. For the first time, a female player's single tournament earnings eclipsed those of almost any ATP event outside the Grand Slams. And Rybakina did it by going undefeated. She didn't drop a single group match. She dominated Pegula in the semifinals. Then she crushed Aryna Sabalenka in the final, a rematch from their intense rivalry that's defined the past 2 seasons. Madison Keys pointed out on the show, "You could tell from the start she wanted this. Like, it wasn't just about the trophy. It was about making a statement." And she did. It's easy to forget that Keys and Pegula weren't just spectators. They were competitors at the same event. Pegula reached the semifinals, only to be stopped by Rybakina herself. Keys, meanwhile, had to withdraw mid-tournament due to illness after 2 matches, ending what had been one of her best seasons yet. Still, both Americans finished the year inside the top 10, Pegula at number 6, Keys at number 7, proving their consistency and resilience. Pegula reflected on that during the podcast. "I can't even be mad. I gave it everything, but she was just better that week. It's motivation for next season. Yeah, I'm motivated, but also still jealous." While Rybakina may have had the biggest payday, Keys and Pegula also enjoyed phenomenal seasons of their own. Madison Keys began the year with a bang, winning the Adelaide International after defeating Pegula in the final, a confidence boost that propelled her into her best season ever. Then came the career-defining moment, her first Grand Slam title at the Australian Open. That victory cemented her comeback story, proving that years of injuries and near misses hadn't broken her spirit. 4. Jessica Pegula, 2025, was a model of consistency and determination. She claimed 3 WTA titles, including prestigious wins in Charleston and Bad Homburg, and made finals appearances at 2 WTA 1000 events, Miami and Wuhan. Even in defeat, she stayed composed and driven. Her semi-final run at the WTA Finals, stopped only by Rybakina's brilliance, showed she remains one of the most dependable players on tour. "I feel like every year I'm learning something new about how to stay in the mix," Pegula said. And honestly, this year was another step forward. What made this podcast episode resonate wasn't just the topic, it was the tone. For years, tennis players kept their thoughts guarded behind polished press conferences. Now, thanks to shows like The Player's Box, fans get to see the authentic, unfiltered sides of these athletes. They laugh about prize money. They tease each other about rankings. They talk about travel stress, body fatigue, and what it's like to compete against your friends. Keys and Pegula have mastered that balance, being world-class athletes and relatable voices for the sport. That it's refreshing, that it's funny that Rybakina's record-setting win has raised the bar for what's possible on the women's tour, but it also lights a fire under her competitors. Players like Pegula, Keys, and Sabalenka aren't just applauding. They're plotting their comebacks. "That's the thing about tennis," Keys said. "You celebrate your friends, but deep down, you're already thinking about how to beat them next time." And with the 2026 season just months away, the stage is set for an even fiercer battle among the world's best at a moment that defined 2025 inches the end. The laughter, admiration, and playful jealousy all come back to one truth. Elena Rybakina earned every bit of that $5.20 million. She turned a tough season into a historic one that she inspired her peers. And she reminded everyone why women's tennis continues to grow, evolve, and excite. As Keys perfectly put it, when someone does something like that, you can't help but respect it. You can be jealous, but in a good way. It's motivation. And that's what makes tennis so compelling. The mix of rivalry, respect, and raw honesty. From Rybakina's dominance to Keys and Pegula's candid laughter, this season gave us everything: power, emotion, and history in the making. Thanks for watching Net Rush Report, your home for everything tennis, from record paydays to real locker room moments. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more stories that serve up the heart of the game. Because here, every point and every paycheck tells a story. Tennis,